What's going on, guys? I hope everybody's doing well today. Today, I will be reacting to The Curious Case of the Chief Mouser. Larry, born in January 2007, is a British domestic tabby cat who is current Chief Mouser to the Cabinet Office at 10 Downing Street, serving since 2011. He is cared for by Downing Street staff and is not the personal property of the Prime Minister. He is cared for by Downing Street staff and is not the personal property of the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Larry has lived at the 10 Downing Street during the premierships of 6 Prime Ministers: David Cameron, Theresa May, Boris Johnson, Liz Truss, Rishi Sunak, and Keir Starmer. He is the first cat to be officially given the title of Chief Mouser, according to the Downing Street government website. Okay, and this is him right here. This is him, and he was actually serving with Freya. I believe that is another cat. So yeah, let's go ahead and check this video out, man. I am really excited. This is strange. Not strange, but like, I wasn't expecting this. I was not expecting these recommendations at all, and that is why I love when you guys recommend videos.
A while ago, we shared the story of FDC Willard, an ordinary house cat who ended up co-authoring a widely cited science paper on low-temperature physics. Today, we're talking about an equally impressive tabby called Larry, who is, believe it or not, an official employee of the UK government, originally appointed by then British Prime Minister David Cameron, and continuing on with his post through the present Prime Minister Boris Johnson. This is despite Johnson's dog, a Jack Russell puppy named Dylan, and Larry's less than enthusiastic response to this new flatmate, with the 12-year-old cat tweeting, "Confirmation that Downing Street is going to the dogs." It's also noteworthy here that Larry has previously tweeted his aspirations to take the position of Prime Minister himself, caterwauling, "I'm announcing that I'm standing to become the next Prime Minister. If Boris Johnson is running, then people deserve a serious candidate too. Hashtag Larry for PM, hashtag yes we can." Losing out on the position of PM, Larry has nonetheless managed to hold on to his post despite the power change. On that note, officially Larry's full title is Chief Mouser to the Cabinet Office of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, and his duties mainly involve keeping the famed residence of the Prime Minister, 10 Downing Street, free of pests such as mice and rats. Larry is one of only a handful of cats in British history to officially assume the role of Chief Mouser, though there have been many other cats that have served essentially the same role over the years who did so without the need for a fancy title or any taxpayer money. The role of Mouser supposedly dates back to the reign of...
I'm sorry, guys. I am sorry for pausing in the middle of his sentence. If you see me rubbing my eyes a lot, I don't know what's going on. It's like my allergies have been good for some time now, and now they're starting to act up, man.
Mice and rats. Larry is one of only a handful of cats in British history to officially assume the role of Chief Mouser, though there have been many other cats that have served essentially the same role over the years who did so without the need for a fancy title or any taxpayer money. The role of Mouser supposedly dates back to the reign of King Henry VIII in the 16th century, more specifically his appointing of Thomas Wolsey as Lord Chancellor in 1515. Wolsey was a noted cat lover and is said to have had one at his side pretty much all the time, to such an extent that a recently erected statue of him features a small cat. As such, it's believed one of Wolsey's many cats likely served as the first Mouser for the government, official or otherwise. But as for the titled position, the records only go back as far as 1929, when it was noted that the Treasury authorised a set sum of money for the maintenance of an efficient cat. And if you're wondering, it's typical for such a cat to serve at number 10 under multiple prime ministers. For instance, one Peter III served as Chief Mouser from 1946 to 1964 under Prime Ministers Clement Attlee, Winston Churchill, Anthony Eden, Harold Macmillan, and Alec Douglas Home. Moving back to Larry, when David Cameron assumed office in 2010, 10 Downing Street didn't actually have a Chief Mouser, as the previous Mouser, Sybil, had retired in 2009, supposedly because then Prime Minister Gordon Brown didn't like her. Initially, David Cameron resisted the idea of hiring a replacement Chief Mouser until rats were noticed scurrying around outside of number 10 Downing Street in several live news reports in early 2011. Though Cameron denied that any plans were in place race to appoint Chief Mouser, internal sources revealed that there was a strong and ever-present pro-cat faction in 10 Downing Street. Apparently, this mysterious faction were able to sway the Prime Minister because, despite his reservations, he and his family went to Battersea Dogs and Cats Home in February of that year and adopted Larry Cameron, with his tenure as Chief Mouser officially starting on February 15th, 2011.
Okay.
And nepotism, it seems, knows no bounds. Needing to come up with a reason one of the Cameron surname would get such a prestigious position over so many other thousands of felines that had worked for years chasing rats and mice at various government offices, this is actually totally a thing, without so much as a good job from Mr. Cameron. According to official statements from the then Prime Minister's team, Larry Cameron was hired because of his time as a former stray, which they claim gave him a high chase drive and hunting instinct. They added that Larry had a very strong predatory drive.
Okay.
Despite high praise of his ninja-like killer instinct, Larry failed to make a kill until 2 months into his tenure when he killed a small mouse and dropped it at the feet of one of Cameron's secretaries. His work ethic and skill...
I know, I see videos of cats chasing mice, but I didn't know it got that serious. I thought they were doing it for fun or they just wanted to play with their tail. Not actually unalive them. Okay, hey, that's something new. All right. I mean, cats are vicious. I don't really like cats. You know, and no offense if you have a cat. I don't really like cats, man. I mean, to be fair, I have a dog, and I don't even like dogs. I didn't buy the dog. I don't even like dogs, man. I'm just not a pets person.
Like killer instinct, Larry failed to make a kill until 2 months into his tenure when he killed a small mouse and dropped it at the feet of one of Cameron's secretaries. His work ethic and skill came under further scrutiny when anonymous sources revealed that Larry had been caught sleeping on the job on multiple occasions and even once took a swing at a journalist. A year into his tenure at Downing Street, a press officer urged people to remember that Larry's job doesn't just involve hunting mice and rats, adding that his responsibilities also include greeting guests to the house, inspecting security defences, and testing antique furniture for napping quality.
Oh.
On that note, though he's not a particularly effective Chief Mouser, it has been noted that Larry is exceptionally talented at greeting and entertaining guests, particularly children who seem to prefer his company to that of the Prime Ministers that have passed through that office, while Larry has reigned silently in the background. That said, Larry has been noted to be slightly averse to men, particularly when he hasn't met them, with the curious exception of former United States President Barack Obama, who Larry warmed up to immediately upon their first encounter.
Okay. I thought this picture was fake. I thought it was like one of them AI things, man. You know how the AI things be getting, man, but I don't think he would include this in his video. Okay. So the cat met President Obama, our ex-president.
President Barack Obama, who Larry warmed up to immediately upon their first encounter. In contrast, Larry didn't even bother to get off his windowsill when President Trump visited, just gazing on from a distance and then tweeting out about his refusal to be bothered shortly thereafter. Larry also once barred Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu from entering number 10 Downing Street and ultimately had to be shooed away, literally, by a police officer so the minister could enter. Larry also attends various benefits and charity events on behalf of the government in an official capacity. In regards to his more specific role of contemplating a solution to the mouse occupancy of the House, the UK's government website features the only known official government quote from Larry, though, as alluded to, he does maintain a Twitter account for non-official correspondences. This states that his solution to the problem is in the tactical planning stage. There have been no updates on the status of this plan since, and he's been in the position for almost a decade now. Despite his lackluster work ethic and clearly being appointed to the position just because he'd scratched the backs of those in power, Larry captured the hearts of the people of Britain and has received many letters, treats and gifts from admirers over the years. However, several years ago, Larry's position as Chief Mouser was put in jeopardy when a new, younger female cat called Freya was brought into number 10 Downing Street. Freya, who was presumed dead at just 6 months old when she went missing from her home in Notting Hill in 2009, was found alive and well over 2 years later and returned to her family. This was none other than the Chancellor of the Exchequer, George Osborne, and his family. They're the occupants of number 11 Downing Street. She immediately began giving Larry a run for his money. Along with being more proficient at killing mice than Larry, no doubt due to being toughened up via her life on the streets for 2 years, Freya was decidedly more politically inclined, preferring to spend her time in the restricted areas of 10 Downing Street, where secret military missions and other classified matters were discussed. Larry, on the other hand, at the time, mostly was just noted for falling asleep on David Cameron's suits in his personal bedroom.
Of
No
course
doubt
he
sleeping
was.
with the boss helped Larry keep his cushy government job despite not actually getting any results. For example, it was noted in one instance that Larry even outright refused to move when David Cameron saw a mouse run across the floor of his study. Cameron attempted to wake Larry up to do his job, but Larry just lay there uninterested in chasing the rodent.
Hey, Larry, you gotta go then, man. If you ain't gonna chase him, then what you doing here, man? I mean, come on, that's not my job. I can't crawl out of them tight little spaces and jump on the bookshelves and stuff like you can, man. I need you. I need you, man. This reminds me of my dog. He just lays there. There could be a robber in the house. Don't even matter. He's gonna lay there and stare at him. I could be throwing a treat across the floor, and he would just lay on his side and stare at it. I could be running towards him, jumping and stomping, and he's just gonna lay on his back like this and give me a side eye. Like, I don't know. It's the lazy in these animals these days, man.
For example, it was noted in one instance that Larry even outright refused to move when David Cameron saw a mouse run across the floor of his study. Cameron attempted to wake Larry up to do his job, but Larry just lay there uninterested in chasing the rodent. On another occasion, the Prime Minister hurled a piece of cutlery at the mouse during a dinner with his ministers when Larry was similarly too busy napping to catch it. The mouse escaped unharmed. This led to rumours that the Prime Minister and Larry did not see eye to eye, and perhaps even that Larry was on the take from the rodent Parliament of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, who was known to also conduct much of their business at number 10 Downing Street. As to the former accusation, a spokesman for the Prime Minister denied that there was any rift between Larry and David, releasing an official statement that the pair got on perfectly well. Nevertheless, Freya's results could not be ignored forever, and shortly after her introduction to the household in 2012, reports were issued stating that the two cats would share the job of Chief Mouser. This did not sit well with Larry, and the cats came to blows over the decision later that year, forcing the police to step in and separate them. According to eyewitness accounts, Freya was the clear winner of the fight, no doubt again thanks to her experience living on the streets. Larry once again became the sole Chief Mouser in 2014 when Freya was hit by a car. Although she survived at the cost of one of her 9 lives, her owners decided...
Whoa! Wait, what? Hold on. How did it just take a turn like that? All right. Let's go back, man. What? That was crazy.
Separate them. According to eyewitness accounts, Freya was the clear winner of the fight, no doubt again thanks to her experience living on the streets. Larry once again became the sole Chief Mouser in 2014 when Freya was hit by a car. Although she survived at the cost of one of her 9 lives, her owners decided to send her to the countryside.
He already said she died the first time and then she came back to life once she was found again. So they thought she was dead, unalived. Wait a minute. You gotta stop using that word, man. You misleading people, man.
Although she survived at the cost of one of her 9 lives, her owners decided to send her to the countryside.
See what you did,
she
though.
wasn't cut out for city life, despite the fact that she'd lived on the streets for over 2 years at one point, leading some to speculate that the move was perhaps for her own protection. While there's no evidence suggesting foul play on Larry's behalf, those in the know have indicated that it can't be fully ruled out. It should be noted here that Larry has had occasional run-ins with the law, such as in 2015 when a police sniffer dog, Bailey, and Larry got into a heated altercation over matters that were curiously not made public.
Well, when it comes to cats and dogs, you know, dogs are not really messing with cats, man, because them cats, they put the paws on them. They put them paws on them. You ever see them videos on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, whatever? It's all over social media. Them cats get down. It don't even matter what kind of cat. They get down. And it don't matter the size of the dog, man. Like, it's truly amazing. I'm like, that's really a dog's kryptonite right there. It's a cat. If your dog is getting on your nerves or misbehaving, and he knows that he's potty trained as well, and he's still making a mess around the house, go get a cat. Go get a cat, man. And that cat gonna put him in check with them paws. Yeah. Yeah. And so what if the dog does rough the cat up and unalives the cat? Well, the cat's got 9 lives. We'll be all right.
Larry got into a heated altercation over matters that were curiously not made public. Maybe
Oh,
it's all
man.
a government cover-up. Since then, Larry has caused yet more controversy by failing to protect number 10 Downing Street from an errant heron and not being around to capture a mouse that was later caught by the aforementioned Chancellor of the Exchequer and former owner of Freya, George Osborne. This led to rumours that Osborne might usurp Larry's position, as his pet had once done. No doubt, out of fear of having his own little automobile accident, Osborne has never pursued the position, despite his obvious skill. Curiously, despite the run-ins with the law, obvious government cover-ups, now 3 different prime ministers passing through during his tenure, and a complete lack of results, Larry's position, which comes with no salary but still somehow finds him able to afford his life in the lap of luxury, continues to remain. Speaking of the lap of luxury, were you aware that at one point in time, Howard Hughes bought an entire TV station just so he could call them up at any time and tell them what to play so he could watch what he wanted, whenever he wanted?
We all wish we had a life like Larry. We gotta work so hard for it, and he gets to just have it. All right. I mean, he is a cat. It's not like he can spend some money and have some real fun, but yet again, he's living life. It's probably a boring, miserable life, though, as an animal, don't you think?
Speaking of a cat running for Prime Minister, while Larry may have missed his opportunity for power, a dog named Bosco Ramos, a black lab Rottweiler mix, was genuinely elected mayor of an unincorporated, census-designated place in California called Sunol in 1981, serving in the role for 13 years until he died. How he got into the job in the first place was simply that his owner thought the whole thing would be funny, so entered him in the race under the platform Dogs Are People Too, and with campaign promises including a bone in every dish, a cat in every tree, and a fire hydrant on every corner. Bosco was not only elected, but even ran against 2 human beings, both of whom he beat in a landslide. The same can be said of Duke, a dog who became the honorary mayor of a small town in Minnesota, winning by 9 votes in his election.
I'll vote for the dog too.
The town only had 12 residents, meaning that I guess he technically won by a landslide. Funny enough, the individual who ran against Duke, one Richard Sherbrooke, even claims he voted for the dog rather than himself. Again, Duke's position was ceremonial, but the residents of the town were happy to have him as mayor, with Sherbrooke describing the idea of having the dog mayor as pretty cool. However, just because nobody expects a canine mayor to do anything, it doesn't mean their terms in office aren't gleefully noted by the local populace as if the animal did function as an actual official mayor. Going back to Bosco for a moment, while he was in office, the doggy mayor would regularly meet with the citizens of the town, taking daily strolls about the town to meet with his constituents. While serving as mayor, Bosco became something of a celebrity, appearing on TV, earning $2,000 for his owner in one such appearance, and at one point caused an international incident when Chinese newspapers widely reported on his election as an example of the shortcomings of democracy and why it should be avoided. Bosco literally took all of this in his stride, and when the Tiananmen Square incident happened in 1989, he was invited to join protests organized by students at Berkeley and Stanford in front of the Chinese embassy as an honored guest. His owner accepted the offer. Bosco also led the Halloween parade every year and attended formal events wearing a doggy tuxedo. When he wasn't being formal, Bosco was recognizable due to his habit of wearing a red bandana. It wasn't all smooth sailing for Bosco, though, and his tenure wasn't without controversy, one of the most infamous being his liaisons with numerous female dogs while on the clock, resulting in numerous illegitimate pups being sired. In addition, Bosco also went missing for a week in 1987, turning up a week later with a stick in his mouth. He's never revealed where he went, so it's assumed he was enjoying a raunchy rendezvous with a female dog. Bosco also frequently got caught being bribed with ice cream and would act aggressively when people withheld his favorite treat, beef jerky. After his death in 1994, the people of Sunol paid tribute to Bosco by erecting a bronze bust of the world's first canine mayor. Despite his well-known love of formal clothing, the artist responsible for Bosco's statue chose to depict him in everyday attire. So I really hope you found that video interesting. If you did,
very interesting.
Smash that.
Are there any other parts to this that I should react to? Or any other separate videos pertaining to Chief Mouser that you guys would like me to check out? Please feel free to recommend them down below in the comment section and suggestion link in the description. Everyone, please feel free to share this video and channel to your friends and family members. And everyone, please feel free to follow my Twitch down below in the description as well if you would like to join me and the rest of the members on a live. That way you guys can see my live reactions and get a chance to see my live facial expressions and get a chance to recommend some videos for me to react to live, and I can just kick back, relax, and chat with you guys. Just sit here and talk with you guys live. That sounds like a beautiful experience, and I would love to be able to connect with you guys live. I still can't see you guys. Look. We're not in person yet. I still can't see you, but that's okay, though. As long as you can see me and we can still connect with each other like how we do in the comments, but instead live. Everyone stay safe, enjoy the weather, and I hope to catch you all in the next reaction video.